All things begin and end to stories, so the old saying goes, and so begins our story here. I'm Mr. J Electro.
And I'm Raxus Synode.
And welcome to this hour of Sovereignty's Crescendo, a community-based radio show full of chill music, news, and interviews.
Today we celebrate the concept of new beginnings with a commencement-themed program we aptly christened New Beginnings.
Right now, you're listening to a Michael Stearns piece from the soundtrack of the documentary Baraka. Following that, we'll hear a lovely song from the post-rock duo Hammock from their album Raising Your Voice, Trying to Stop an Echo. Then, a track from David Helping and John Jenkins's Treasure. Then we'll return with more Michael Stearns from Collected Thematic Works 1977 to 1987. To end the first half of the show, we'll visit Carbon-Based Lifeform's Interloper album.
At the middle of the hour, we'll take a break from the music to bring you two exclusive interviews from KortexVortex and Blisschen, talking about their plans for the Sovereignty Ascending launch. After the interviews, we'll continue where we left off with Carbon-Based Lifeform's Interloper. Then we'll hear a piece from Western Standard's EP 020814. Finally, more from Michael Stearns from Motion.
At the end of the music, we will be discussing a little bit of insight into the development of the server and the map. New beginnings for everyone on this edition of Sovereignty's Crescendo. welcome to the break here on Sovereignty's Crescendo. Hope you enjoyed the first half. Here in the studio with us is KortexVortex of Berlin. So, nice to meet you, Cortex. I notice you have a nation, Berlin. Can you tell me a little bit about it, particularly the name?
Okay, yeah, man. So what happened was we were thinking about building styles, and we decided that we really wanted a more of medieval, like German towny type build. And so to go along with that theme, we decided that we wanted to name ourselves after Berlin. But we kind of wanted to have fun with it. We didn't just want to be like Berlin, because that's boring. So we threw a little spin on it, came up with our spelling, and I don't know, it kind of catches people's attention, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. Can you tell me about the government of Berlin?
Yeah, the government is going to be what we like to call a benevolent monarchy, but personally I like to call it a democratic dictatorship, as in we're a democracy run by a dick, and it's not exactly like that, but I have great advisors. I have some of the probably the best people ever, and pretty much like everyone gets their own say. They advise me, and I have the final say in the matters, but they persuade me pretty well, and they lead me in the right path.
All right, so here's another question for you. How many people do you have?
Right now we have 5 official members. We're looking to add 3 more, and that's just with people we know from our personal lives. Obviously we're looking for as many people as we can. But yeah, right now it's 5 total members, possibly 8 before launch, and that's before advertising. So yeah.
That's awesome. One of the other things I have noticed about Berlin is that you guys really emphasize the wall. So what's the point of the wall?
The point of the wall is like it's for protection purpose mainly. We want to keep our people safe. We want to make them feel safe inside of the wall, and it's not really much more I can say about that. I mean, I think it explains itself.
Right, I think safety is really important, but I do notice that if this is going to be a wall around your entire city or even nation, that's going to be quite a mess to reinforce. What are you looking to reinforce it with?
Right. Starting out, we're probably going to start out with the weakest reinforcement, so probably like stone. And if there's something stronger that we come across a lot of, if we can reinforce with something stronger, we'll aim to reinforce with that. But starting out, we're gonna start with stone.
Now, is this just going to be one wall, or is this going to be a series of walls?
We're gonna have. At the moment, we're looking at one main wall. We might add more. It depends on how far we expand. But at the moment, we're sticking with one.
All right, and that's a lot of reinforcement though for a big thing. Like, do you have a big plan on like how to organize your people to do that?
Yeah, we're gonna keep as much stone as we can from mining. Starting out, we're planning on having a big excavation, tear up some land, get some stone. So probably pretty close to our nation, so.
A massive dig site, that makes sense. Now, I have noticed something about this wall, what with the popular culture right now on the internet. I'm wondering, is this just one massive Donald Trump meme?
I mean, in a sense, yeah, but that's what it started out as. But as we talked about it more and more, we decide that it's a good defense against raiders. It will actually keep our people safe. It will make people feel safe, knowing that people can't just walk up and destroy all their stuff. So starting out it did, but that's okay.
I assume you're looking to make Berlin great again, then.
Yeah, of course.
All right, if you had one final message for our listeners, what would that be?
Well, I just want them to know that we are looking for members, and we'd love to have you. If you join us early, you could have a say in pretty much everything that we're talking about right now. And, it'd be nice for you to come make Berlin great.
Well, thank you for joining us, Cortex. This has been great.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right, and welcome to the second interview of Sovereignty's Crescendo. Right here with me, unfortunately without Rax at the moment, I've got Blisschen. Now, Blisschen, I understand that you're starting a nation called Fulverin. Is that correct?
That is.
Can you tell me about your nation?
It's not really, there's nothing really solid yet, but essentially we're trying to do sort of a new Amsterdam style on the riverbanks. Our plan right now looks completely beautiful. We've been testing it out, but it's mainly sort of focusing on back to what a nation really is supposed to be, which is a community of people. And we're not going to be communism. Don't take it like communism, but it's sort of going to be focusing back on working together and playing together.
Less of a communist society and more of a family, from what I understand.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong against I'm not trying to knock people doing the communism route, but that's sort of not what we're trying to do. It's more like a community, less communism.
A small village. No, yes. It's totally understandable. Now my question is, your theme is New Amsterdam, your governing style is something like a small village type family thing. So I assume you have a leader, and if so, is it you?
It is, yes.
Well, I suppose that would make you something of a benevolent dictator then?
We can go with benevolent dictator. I don't really like the word dictator. You can try more like empress than dictator.
Benevolent empress. That does have a nice ring to it.
See? I told you. It sounds nice. It's very ego stroking. And
yes,
everybody knows I love my ego being stroked. And
now, another question for you. I understand that Raxus is your boss. Now, he wasn't able to make it today. Is he a very bad boss? What's it like working under him?
He's a terrible boss. No, I'm just kidding. It is really awesome to work under Raxus because he just has 1,001 ideas. And whenever you talk to him, he's really, really passionate about sovereignty, and he's really, really passionate about what he does. And that's what I really like about it, because he'll be able to give direction and he'll say, hey, look, here's all the stuff we need to do. And I'm like, I can do that. And it just, I think we work together really, really well.
So he gives a sense of organization and a lot of help with that because he's really into it, is what you're saying.
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally. And because he isn't here, I mean, I could have just went off on him, and I didn't. So
I'm sure he'll remember that.
Yeah, you're an awesome boss, Raxus. Oh my goodness.
Now another question for you. We have a lot of new plugins that we're actually building from scratch here with Cygate. My big question for you about that is, which one are you most excited for? And why are you most excited for it?
I think the one I'm most excited for has to be Sanctuaries, because when I read about it, it's really going to revolutionize how we nation build and how the world is organized. Because there isn't going to be any more of the paper claims where nations will claim huge amounts of land that they can't hold. It's going to be, you can only have what you can defend, and it's really defense. I was on the test server and we were messing around, and it's actual defense and it's actual siege. You can't just jump over a wall. You have to strategically build up and build cannons, and I just love it. It's something that really, I think, is gonna take Civ servers into a new direction.
Well, that is the goal with Sovereignty Ascending. I think we are out of time for the interview, so I have one last question for you. Is there anything you'd like to tell the listeners of this radio show?
Other than the fact that everybody in Sovereignty has been super amazing so far. I love being a part of the community because everybody, I don't mean to say that we're all touchy-feely, everybody loves each other, but there's definitely a sense of community above the nations. I don't get the sense that people are going to go off and get super salty about something or one thing or the other, because at the end of the day, we're all part of sovereignty and we're all part of the next and the latest thing. And it's really, really fun to be on the cutting edge. And I think everybody really has that enthusiasm. And that's why I love being a part of this. So I think if there's anything to say is that I love everybody on sovereignty. And I think, yeah, one thing to say is that I love being a part of this and it's been so much fun.
Well, that's really good to hear. I do believe we're out of time then for the interview, so we'll get on back to the music here very shortly. Thank you for joining us, Blisschen.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Welcome back to the music. I hope you enjoyed those live and candid interviews.
At the end of this second sonic stretch, Raxus and Ode and I will discuss the Sanctuaries plugin, as well as an insight into the development of the server. For now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the music. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the show. Typically, we would discuss international news in this closing segment, but as Sovereignty Ascending just launched, we decided a better use of the time would be discussing our development instead, particularly highlighting Sanctuary. So we've been working on the server for, 6 months now?
Yeah, 6 months since October.
Yeah, the end of October, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think Cygate's been working, 4 hours a day?
4 hours a day.
Every day, too.
Yeah.
He treats it like a part-time job.
Well, I mean, you really have to put the time into making these plugins smooth and have the type of performance that they do. I mean, if we're going to move on forward, I mean, Sanctuary Fields is a one-of-a-kind plugin that has never been seen before by really any type of server.
Right, true. And I think the big thing is, it's not just Sanctuary, it's every plugin has been rebuilt essentially from scratch, which I could never do something like that, so I'm happy that he is.
And what I really like is that they're all tailored to kind of fit in like a puzzle and really work really smoothly together so that one really supports the other one.
Right, I think they all complement each other, and that's probably going to really be helpful for optimization in the future.
Right, whenever we see that something is not really working all that well, we can easily go and move this part to really fit this part. We can
rearrange the puzzle, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Now, as for the map, I mean, the plugins are great, but the map is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, going around in it is just beautiful. I'm really liking the way that we really did the features. They really feel real, they feel natural, it feels like you're walking in like a picture, honestly.
And my favorite part about it is it seems like no matter where I go, there's something beautiful there. There's some sort of wonderful scene, wonderful vista.
Yeah, and I'm in love with the ruins.
Oh, the ruins, they are incredible.
Yeah, I just really like how you and I and Tiny are just going together and we're really working to make some really unique structures throughout the map.
Yeah, and then someone will stumble upon it and maybe it'll have a little hint towards the lore, or maybe it'll have some items to help them. It's just such a great idea, in my opinion, to have some really good backstory hidden about the map.
Yeah, and we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to push lore or role playing on anyone, but there definitely is a pressure, in my opinion, to go towards some sort of backstory for your nation, to have some sort of history for this land, because people really love doing that.
Right. A secret goal of mine actually is to find one nation that will see a wonderful bit of ruins, some sort of, forgotten town or something like that, and they might develop their whole nation around that. Just the lore of their own nation, the nation structure itself, around just a ruin. I think that would be great.
I think that'd be really cool too. I think that it would also be such a cool experience from our end, because we've been working on this for 6 months now, and just to see it come to fruition is just a really cool process.
I am so excited for this as well, aren't you?
I really am, and I guess also a good time now would be to talk about Wyhr, actually. I mean, this wasn't planned at all, but we should talk about Wyhr.
Yeah, of course. I almost forgot we have a thing.
Right. So to kind of explain our situation of what we're going to be doing, we are going to be playing Jay and I, and we're going to be completely in role play, almost like NPCs, going around the map, and we'll be a traveling caravan, trading things to different cities, stopping off.
Right.
And
completely neutral, by the way. That's a big focus that we want to focus on.
Right, and we are not going to go to war. And whenever we're trading, we're not thinking about any sort of alliance or relationship with anyone. So we just want to go and be completely, have no footprint.
We're going to essentially follow the money. Whoever wants to trade with us, if they have the highest offer, we will go to them. And if that puts us trading with two enemies in the same day, well, that's just going to happen. But we want to avoid bias. We want to avoid staying around in one town too long and becoming a little too friendly with them. And frankly, I don't know about you, Raxus, and I didn't really discuss this too much with you, but I want to get rich.
I don't know. For me, it's more about the player experience. I do want to go over and get a profit. I mean, we're both business majors in real life.
Right.
But I also am very much about the players. A big dream of mine would be to be the first experience that a new friend comes in. We go over and
Definitely.
we go there, we give them some
We
stuff.
go in, we help them out, and you know what would really help us be able to hand out good, nice things to new players? If we were rich.
I guess you got a good point. But yeah, for me, I'm more focused on the player aspect, I guess, with it.
I am as well, though. I mean, that's why we're the PR people, right?
I guess so. This week's program was titled New Beginnings and featured ambient space music around the concept of new beginnings. On our next program, we'll be exploring an introspective journey of acousto indie sounds titled Ballads of the Vagabond.
Thanks for listening, and as always, it's about you, the listener.